Hello and welcome. My name is Nick Love with Love Racing, and today we're at Virginia International Raceway North Course in the Formula Vee. We are here for week 9 of the 2023 season, and here at the updated VIR, we're going to go ahead and do one flying lap, and then we'll go ahead and do a second breakdown lap, going over all the details such as turn-in points, braking points. Alright, coming up to turn 1, we're going to have the braking markers on the left side of the track. Right when we get to about the arrow marker, we're going to start to turn in a little bit, straighten up, then get hard on the brakes. We're going to go down into third, keep it nice and tight, get back on throttle nice and early. There's a lot of track. Alright, through this next section, we want to prepare ourselves for turn 3. So you don't want to pull this apex too tight. You want to leave yourself enough room and time to get back over to the right. Nice solid lift, stay in third, then get back on throttle. There's some runoff on the right that you can run over. You're going to start braking where the rubber's laid down on the track. Take a nice late apex here, so that way when you get back on throttle, you can stay full throttle throughout this whole section. That's really important because this ends up being a pretty long straight. This is all flat out. Just minimize the amount of steering angle that you're going through here. You can use those bumpers. Okay, turn 7 is going to be uphill and on camber, so we're going to go ahead and carry a little bit more speed there than we expect. Brake right before the barrier ends on the right, down into third, and get back in throttle nice and early. On the way up the hill, you can track left without getting what times. This is all flat out, should be a rhythm section. You can use this road on the right, the end of it, to start turning in here. Just kind of follow the dark patches on the road. It should be flat out through this whole section. Don't worry about running over the curbs, and you can cut straight through this section. Brake at the end of the barrier on the left. It's really important that you don't turn in too early here, or you're going to end up compromising this exit here. You're going to go up into fourth. You can run over a lot of this curve on the left, try to straighten it out as much as possible. And just a nice long lift, and then get back on throttle. If you do this right, you should be able to carry a ton of speed through this straightaway. And that was one quick lap at VIR North in the Formula Vee. We're going to go ahead and do another lap where we break down more of the specifics and dive into some of the details. Okay, heading down the straight, you're going to want to keep it to the right as much as possible. Don't add any extra distance. And then after you pass the pit straight, just track all the way over to the left. We're going to start turning about a car length before the arrow symbol, so about halfway between the arrow and the 100. We're just going to lift, turn just slightly just to point it at the apex, and then we're going to straighten up the steering wheel and brake in a straight line. That way we don't get any rotation. Once you've turned enough to where your right tire is pointing right about the apex, you're going to go ahead and straighten the wheel up, then start getting hard on the brakes. This is going to be one of the hardest braking zones on the track, so you're really going to want to get a lot of pressure early and then ease off of it as you get to the apex. We're going to get back on throttle right about the end of this bumper. If you get on a little bit too early, if you're too antsy, it's going to push you wide, and you're going to end up losing time. Keep an eye on your steering angle here. You're not really going to want to go more than 90 degrees. If you do, you're really going to start scrubbing off a lot of speed. Once you feel it start to grip up, you can start to unravel the steering wheel a bit. You don't want to clip that bumper on the right with your right tires. Heading into turn 3 NASCAR bend, we're going to aim right for the beginning of that bumper with the front of the car. That'll give us a good reference point on where we want to be before we turn in. About a car's length from the end of the bumper, we're going to do a big lift, and we're going to start turning, get the car to rotate right away, get a lot of weight on those right tires. And we're going to aim for those left tires to hit the apex here. Here at the apex, we'll use the curbing on the left here, and we'll want to make sure we get back to full throttle right about this point. There's going to be some runoff on the right side of the track that we'll use as well. We're going to use the rubbered in discoloration on the track here as our braking marker. Just going to give it a little bit of braking pressure, just get some weight on that front tires and help us turn in here. We're going to want a nice late apex for turn 4. That way we can get on throttle nice and early for turn 5 and carry that speed all the way through the straight. Our goal is to late apex right here at the end of the curbing. We'll get back on throttle here, and we should stay on all the way through the next section. If you've gotten the line right, you should be able to stay flat out here. You shouldn't need more than 90 degrees of steering angle. And here you can just run right over the curbs, try to straighten this out as much as possible with the minimum steering input. Here for the braking zone at turn 7, we got two references, the guardrails on the left and the right. I prefer to use the one on the right just because I like looking towards the apex already. It's about maybe 1 or 2 car lengths behind it. We don't need a ton of braking pressure here because the turn's on camber and it goes uphill as well, so you end up having a lot of grip. So you can carry a lot more speed here than expected. Once we've gotten to the guardrail on the left, we should be done shifting. We should start to turn in and trail off the brake. Because you can carry a deceptive amount of speed through this corner, you can actually get back on throttle pretty early once you've got the turn in. We're going to get on throttle pre-apex here. That's because there's a lot of runoff on the exit, and we can run over that without getting any one times. Alright, turn 9 is going to be one of the most important corners in this section. We're going to want to make sure we get this one right. That way we can stay flat out and not scrub off too much speed throughout this next 3 or 4 corners. So we're going to turn in right at the end of this frontage zone. Not a whole lot of steering angle, and make sure we run over the bumper on the left-hand side. Once you get the hang of the first turn, the rest of it's just a nice rhythm section. Shouldn't be too difficult in the Formula Vee. You can go ahead and ignore that white line there. There's no track limits here. You can just go straight through the section, and that's how you want to take it. Coming up on roller coaster corner, we're going to go ahead and start braking right at the end of this curbing on the left. If you're pushing the limits here for this corner, you can put a tire into the grass here, just a little bit without a one times, but it is pushing it. Coming into Hogpen, we're going to use the end of this bumper on the right as our turn-in reference. We're going to want to have a nice late apex, put 2 tires all the way over the curbs to try and straighten up and prepare for that final corner as much as possible. Again, make sure you're using all of the curbing here on the left. We want to be all the way track left before we turn right here. This corner is make or break for the lap. Staying in fourth, we're going to lift right as we get to the end of this bumper. We're not going to brake. We're going to start turning in, and our goal is going to be back full throttle by this apex. If you end up taking this correctly, you're going to carry a lot of speed all the way through this long front straight. But if you do mess it up, there's a lot of grass on the left, and you're going to lose a ton of time. So really focus on practicing this corner. This lap was a 142.875. I think we could probably expect the top guys to be running low to mid 42s. Alright, I hope this helped. If you ended up getting faster after you guys watched this, go ahead and comment. Let me know where you're making up the time. Also, please like and subscribe to the channel. It lets me know kind of what I should be working on in the future. You guys stay safe out there on the VIR grass.